Ranjit. Good morning. So ideally, what happens in a programming language, we tend to write everything within a single window, right? But here the advantage is you can write your codes in either in one block, you can write whatever things you want, or you can just put few in the first segment, put few in the second segment, and you can run them as per your need, right? So it's not like everything has to be run in a single shot. So you can run individual segments separately and then probably club them together to get the results and proceed accordingly. So that's why Jupyter is I mean Jupyter notebook, that's why it's kind of beneficial in that way, because it enables us to run segments of codes or segments of things separately. So I'm doing something here, I'm doing something in the, in the third segment, I'm doing something in the fourth segment. So it all are, though they all are interconnected, but at the, within a particular cell, this has no connection with this one. If I run four, only the fourth one will get executed and not everything. So that's probably one of the advantages of using cell-based, cell-based programming. And so this has a kernel at the back end. So what is kernel? Kernel is basically a command prompt. So it's the hidden, console of the Jupyter, which takes care of which code is running now, which how much time it's taking. If this is an error, then just throw something, throw an error if the last one had some issue in the, in the coding writing and all. So that's what this kernel. So whenever, so let's say we are writing some codes here, and whenever we will face something, all we need to do is come here and interrupt the kernel and then do a reconnect. So these are the things. We can do a restart as well. So these are, few of the things that we can do. And worst case, let's say the whole thing got stuck. Let's say I'm writing a code or I'm running some code which pulls in, let's say, 50 million records. So that's of course going to hamper the entire system, right? So in that case, it's better try to, stop, interrupt the kernel. If it works, fine. Otherwise, it's better to close the entire session, close the entire Jupyter notebook and then reopen it. But that's why it's important to save your codes at every instance. Now, Jupyter Notebook already has a segment where it auto-save documents. See this, the third one, auto-save document is enabled. So whenever you will start writing your things, after every instance, it will keep on auto-saving the document. So that's really a good thing that we have. Okay. Uh, so we will start with things. Let's see, let's have a look here and it will help us to, take us through. So these are few of the things that we will try to cover today: variables, data types, operation loops, conditional loops, and strings. So just let me put a copy here of all this. And so this is also, so within Jupyter, if you see there is a drop down here. So this has three things. So let's focus on two. The first one is code. So keep it code, keep a particular cell code whenever you want to code something, write some codes here, and keep it as markdown every time you want to create some description field, like you just want to say something, some sort of a comment or those kind of things. So this is how it will be. That's it. And how to run it. So once you're done, so there are multiple options. Either you can play this, press this play button, or you can click on run and run selected cells, or in your local end, you can just hit control and enter. That's it. So control enter is an instruction to running a particular segment. So this will tell the kernel that user wants to run this particular cell. So every time you press this button, you will see, this kernel status. Right now it's idle, but every time you run this, just have a look, this will be busy. Now this happened so fast, that's why we have not realized. But if I do a simple thing, see, it happened really quick. So it was busy for a few seconds and then it became idle. So that's how it works. That's how the thing works. Any questions until now?
No, it's fine.
So Ranjit Sian, you're following, right? Why do we need a Jupyter notebook and all?
Yeah.
So we can do the same bit of work in other IDs, PyCharm, or there are multiple options available in the market. There is Visual Studio, VS Code. There are other options as well. So everything has its own, positive and negative side. This one is easy for first timers, for people like, for people like us, we have, let's say, started learning. So for us, because these are pretty straightforward, simple, and not that complex. So once we will start using Python on a day in, day out basis, then we can try out probably other options and we will see which one is better, which one is not. So that's all about Jupyter Notebook, how it works. And even if you want to know more about, just go here, help within, there is a documentation segment, and this has the notebook in details, like how to run, what are all, what are all the things you can do, what is a kernel. So if you really want to know more about this, so there are certainly options and there are a lot of informations available here. So if you really want, just go through them and just have a look for your own understanding. But for now, this much I would say is enough, just to know how it works. And yeah, that's it. So this is it. And so the next thing, let's start with new things. So now, as we know, Python is a programming language. So programming language, as I said yesterday, so this was more about, telling the computer what to do, telling the computer instructions, like this is what I want to do and do it accordingly. So those set of, informations or, instructions. So that is what a programming language does. Now, how it does. So in the process of doing all of that, it somewhere needs to save the data values, process them, write some codes, write some process, some sub process, and eventually it all sums up to the entire, programming structure. So, but the first thing is there are some variables. Now, what are variables? So variables are things which can, store some value inside of it. So that is what a variable is all about. So example, let's say x is a variable. So right now what x has, nothing. So let me just remove these two. Yeah. So this is a value x, right? But what is it? So right now there is another option called print. So print will help us to print what value we have stored in a particular variable. So if you run this statement, oh, this was already executed. Let's try that. See, this is what you are going to get. So this is y. And if I try to see what is inside y, it will tell me the name is not being defined. So what we have to do, we have to define some value inside of it. So once we store some value inside of it, let's say y is equal to 45, and run it, and then if we say print y, then it's going to give me 45. So 45 has been stored so inside y. So y is a variable, which has the value of 45 stored inside of it. So that is one thing. So this is a variable. Okay, let's say there is another one x which has another value in decimal 5.689, right? So again, if I do print x, it's going to give me the value here. So this is what has been stored here. So what is the difference between these two? The difference is y has an, okay, let's see what is the difference. How can we see that? Using type. So type of y, and type of y, and I want to see this is in the output. So I will just write print on top of it. So print of type of y. So this will give me the value of int. Int stands for integer. Integer means variables which does not have any decimals in it. Those are integers. However, if I do the same thing on 5.69, let's see what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a float value. So this is float. Float stands for floating point number. So these are two different data types that we have in Python, right? So these are different variables, and that's how you can store them in a particular variable. There is certainly two more. Let's say this is equal to, now what is the data type of R? If I do this, this will be a string. So every time you put everything within double quotes, Python will read that as a string. Now, it doesn't matter if you use double quotes or single quote. Anyway, it will it will be treated as a string. And there's one more, which is Boolean. Now, Boolean is what? Boolean is all about true, false, those things. Let's say y is equal to true. Now, type of y, it's bool. So bool stands for boolean. So these are the different variables, and that's how we can store different values inside of it, right? So there are integers. So it's absolutely depends on the need. It absolutely depends on what we have to what we have to process, what kind of data. Let's say we are talking about population of a country. So population will always be in integer. It will never be in floating point or string or boolean, right? So the population of a country will always be this. Similarly, if you're talking about sales number, profit and loss, in that case, it will be mostly in floating point. It could be in integer also, but for most of the cases, it will be a floating point. So that's how we can store our data accordingly as per the need of the hour. So what needs to be done? That is one thing. So any questions until now? Ranjit Sian? I cannot hear you. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, it's fine.
So no doubts, right? Okay. So are we going slow, or you want me to pick it up a little bit, pace it up?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ranjit is.
I cannot hear you, Sian. So just be a little loud.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Ranjit, if you can hear what he's saying, can you help us?
Yes, yes, yes. I can hear
Uh,
you. You can continue with the
so you
same
can hear.
speed.
Okay. No, I was asking if Ranjit can hear this.
I'm still not able to. Ranjit, can you help us?
Yeah?
So, is it like a little slow? You want me to go a little fast, or this is okay?
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. You can continue with this same speed.
Okay. So, are you guys also writing it on your end?
URL?
Are you guys also trying this coding on your end?
No, we are just listening. That's it. So, sorry. Do you want me to practice
I think it will be
simultaneously?
better. Yeah, I think it will be better, right? So if you keep on practicing on your end, so you might get some error, not work. So it will be easy for you. So it's completely your wish, whatever you want to do.
Fine.
So if you guys just want to listen, that's fine. But if you want to write it on your end, again, that's your wish. But
Okay.
okay, that is one thing. So that's how these are the different variables that helps us to store different data. And that is one thing. Now let's move on to data types. So what are the different data types? So data type is something which will help us to store a data type, as in like various types of data you're storing together in one set. Right now we are seeing it's one value and one variable. But what if I want to store a list of all these things? Let's say there are a dozen values, 45, 65, 95, like that. I will not be able to store everything within one variable, right? I need some other something, some sort of a data structure or some different techniques to store all of that. So that's when came this new thing. So I will just do a little change here. I will do this. So this, the good thing is you can just play around with the length. So if you decrease it, it will just increase the font size. So list. So these are few of the things. Let me just write it down. List, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. So these are few techniques through which you can store some data. And also let me put string here. So string, as we already know, it is a variable that has stored string data type. So string is type. Now we just relate it, like we can store multiple variables or multiple values within string. That's why string is kind of, you can call it as a data type as well. How? Let's say S is equal to India is my. So Sian, where are you from?
I'm from Kerala.
Okay, so S, let's say STR. So this is the string. Sian is from Kerala. If I run it, so how would you know if I executed a particular cell or not? From the left-hand side number. These numbers are blank, means they have not been executed. There's no data inside of it. But I've written something and the number is 13 coming, means this has been executed. So the number of times I'll hit the run button, see the number will increase. Now it's 14. If I do it again, this will be 15. So it kind of tracks how many times you've executed. So the reason this is important is whenever you're working with organization where cost is an important thing, in that case, number of times you have executed will be directly proportional to the cost of the resources. Let's say you are working on GPU, not CPU. In that case, the number of resources you will consume for your work, that will be counted from here. So that's why this left side is kind of important. Okay, coming back. So this is a string. This is a string. What is the string? Sian is from Kerala. Fine, good. Now, let's say I want to extract few things out of it. How can I do it? Using square brackets. So square bracket will help me to extract information out of it. It usually, so let's say I want the first few. So 1, 2, 4. So if I write like this, it's going to give me these three values. Now, why? Now, just listen this thing very carefully. So in Python, everything starts with a 0. The way Python reads characters or values or variables, they always start from left and they go until to the right. So that's the usual process. So it's always in this way, right? It's always in this way. And this is kind of a comment statement, putting a hashtag. So this is a comment, this will not get executed. So you can put, if you within code, if you want to write your own stuff, which will explain what this purpose, what this part of the code is doing, it's better to put them under a comment and then just write your own stuff. So, but yeah, but the story is, so Python treats from in this way, and always it starts with a 0 and then 1, then 2, and then so on and so forth. So for us, S is 0. So what these are? These are basically your position. So let's say Sian is from Kerala. Let's say this is a whole street. This STR is a street, right? So within this street, these all individual alphabets are, let's say, individual flats or individual houses. They are, stored in this particular street. Now, what is the address? Let's say if I want to access these two, these two houses, then how would I do it? So I can use the addresses. Now I know addresses starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So it will help me to extract relevant part of the data from this particular string. And same goes for list, same goes for tuples as well. So everything starts with 0. Unlike in other programming languages, it always starts with 1. But for Python, it always starts with a 0. So if I put a 0 here, if I say 0 to 4, I'm getting SIYA. Now, just one more thing. Why I'm getting SIYA? Why I'm not getting N? Because if I count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the N is the fourth position, right? But in Python, the way it works is whatever position you will give here, after the colon, it will take one position prior to that. So this statement is 0 to 4. So this means string. This is kind of your starting position after colon, and the whatever will lie after the colon. So that will be more of like less than that particular position. So just remember this thing. So if we write 4 here, we are going to get values until 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. If we write 6, we are going to get value until 5. So just remember this thing very clearly. And let me try with something else, which is there is a third argument, or there is a third way of calling. What is the third? So the third one will tell you how many positions you want to have a gap on. So if you don't specify anything, by default, it will going to pick one at a time. Like it will start from 0, it will go until 5, 6 minus 1, which is 5, but it will take one variable at a time. So that's the default one, right? So default is 1. But if you want to play around with it, just put, let's say 2. 0 to 10 and 2. So what I'm going to get? 0 to 10. 10 means it's long position. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Space is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So R is 10. So until 4. So this is what I should get. But I have used a 2. 2 means it will select the first one, then it will give a gap and it will select the second one out of it, not the very next, but it will just give a, gap after that. So S, Y, N, there is a space, then there is a I, and accordingly. So that's how it is taking. So that's all about extracting data from strings. So let's say if I just put something like colon 2, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the same thing, just that I have not specified the starting position. So if I have not specified the starting, by default, it will be the first element. If I have not mentioned until how many it will going to travel until the end, and if I have used a 2, it's going to take every alternate second alphabet, whatever we have in it. That's what we are going to get. Now, in Python, this is a fact that everything starts with a 0. And so the last element will be the whatever the length of the string, and then that one will be your last position. Python also has another thing, uh, extreme end starts with a -1. So this is also an important thing to remember. What that means? So if this one starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, just keep that in mind that the extreme right hand side, whatever we have, this starts with a -1 and it keeps on going until first. So that's how you can travel it from right side as well. But it's better we not to do it, because -1, -2 will essentially complicate your things. But option is there. You can travel from both end, but it's always recommended to take this route, always from left to right. Now let's say, what if we say -1? So -1 will what? So the starting position is this, the ending position is this. If I put a -1, what it's going to give me? This will basically reverse the whole thing, right? Because -1, so that's how it's going to start. So remember, the last default is 1, that means how many positions I'm going to skip. So -1 means it will directly jump at the very last one, and it will keep putting values accordingly. So it will start with A, then L, so in a reverse order. So these are few of the things for string manipulation, where you can just play around with the strings. You can extract and you can do anything. One more thing to remember is this option. Now, how this one is coming? So using tab. So let's say you have defined a variable, or you have defined a data type or some function later or somewhere else. If I want to know what are the things which can go with this particular variable, so all I need to do is just need to write the name of the string, hit a dot, and then hit the tab button on your laptop or desktop. And it will show you what are the possible things you can do with this particular variable. Now, Python is quite intelligent to understand that this is a string variable. You have stored a string. So within string, what are the possible functions it has? What are the things you can do with it? It will just give you a list. See, the good thing is it has not give you any information about addition, multiplication, because this is a string, right? Those mathematical operations are not possible. So this is capitalized. So what if we do it? Okay, it will be like, so what I'm trying to do, I'm to store the string variable into a new variable. Let's say the name is str1, and then if I print what the value of str1 will be, this is in lowercase. And same thing I can do for upper as well. So everything will be in uppercase and accordingly. So it has lot of functions. So just count. So it's just going to give you a count of, sorry, str dot. So this one I'm getting 1 because it's treating this whole as one variable. What if we had multiple variables like this? So accordingly. So if we had, let's say, multiple values within this, so that's also type of string, but we'll go there later. So right now there's no point to going into all of that. But that's the long story short. You can just play around with this. So just take any value, just do a research and just get, let's say, let's try this. Let's try a find. Find will help you. So what find will do? So also again, another interesting thing is on your monitor, just before just finishing the formula. So just write tab and it will show you the formula. It has just write find, hit enter, and then press the shift and tab. Shift and tab will tell you in brief about what this function is doing. So one is tab and then the next will be shift plus tab. Shift plus tab will show you what are the functions that you can do with this particular. So find will essentially find a particular thing, a substring. Substring means a smaller segment. Like within cyan, I am just, let's say, looking for the Kerala word. So Kerala is a substring within this whole string, right? Sub element, the smaller one. So that will help me to do that. So let's try if it, yeah. So it gives me, so find tells me that Kerala is at the 14th position. So if I count, I'm going to get 14 out of it. So if you start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it will be at the 14th position. The total end of it, because it's not one variable that it's seeking, it's taking entire lot. So that's why it's giving you like that. So that's about string. So it stores all the characters and all the string data types. Moving on to the important part, which is a list. So what is a list? So let's say L1. List is something which can store multiple data types within a single set of box or something. Let's say there is a box, but this box has a lot of data type in it. Let's say this is an integer. This is a floating point. This is a string. And this is a Boolean. So list has the capability to store everything together. So if I print it, this is what a list will look like. So until now, we have been saving similar type of things, but list gives me the option to store multiple data types together. So where this will be beneficial, this would be beneficial for, let's say, for account level informations, same account having multiple different data types in it, few string, few integer, few character. So it's that way we can store a list in this way. So what is the data type? This is a list. Okay, what else we can do? I can go for length. Length of L1 is 4. So it has 4 elements. Now, in the same way, in the same way, this also has 0, 1, 2, 3. I mean, the elements will start from 0. So if I put 0, the first element is going to pick, not the 0th element, but the first element. So if I put L1 and then within square brackets, if I put 0, I'm going to get the first element, which is 12. And if I put 1, this is what I'm going to get. 2 and 3 will give me true. And what if I put 4 here? I'm going to get an error. See the error, index out of range. So index is the position 0, 1, 2, 3. It says it's out of range. That means there is nothing called 4. 4 does not exist. But what if we had an variable here? And now if we run it, we are going to get that particular variable here. So that's how you can retrieve variables from it. Now, let's say I want to add something on top of it. So there are two ways of adding. One is append and there is an extend. These are the two functions which will help me to store something within a list. So L1 dot append, let's say some 568. And if I write L1 now, See, the 568 has been added. And if I run it again, it's added. So every time I'm running it, let's see the number here is getting increased, 43, and the number is getting added. And so that's something to do with append. And let's say I'm doing the same with extend. Right. So see the difference what is happening. So append is adding elements to the list. But for extend, there is also another way to add element to the list. I have to pass it as a list. So just focus on one thing. For list, how would you identify if something is a list or something is a string? So for string, it's obvious it would be within double quotation and it's a character. But for list, it should start with this square bracket. So things which are within square brackets are list. In tuple, we will see things which are within angular brackets are tuples. So what extend is doing, extend is essentially passing a list here, right? This goes as a list. Now same we can do here as well. This will also work. But the difference between these two is append can insert multiple elements. But extend, that's the difference kind of between these two. So see here, if I do L1, okay, let's keep it the smaller one. Let's not overcomplicate it. This is length. Now L1 dot append this. So this was the earlier list, 12, 13, true. It starts with year. And then I have added two more values to it, 568 and 45. But see the difference. These were not saved as individual values. They were rather went as one particular list. So if I see here how many element it has, length of L1, I'm going to get 6, but actually it's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The problem is, but it's not a problem. It's like the way of inserting values. So if I want my list to have individual data elements, in that case, I should use an extent. If I use an extent, these will get stored on individual elements, on individual indexes. But for append, this whole thing, whatever, how many values you have put inside append will go as a whole list. Are we following it? Ranjit, Sian?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, we can follow it.
Okay. So see here. So this is the fifth element. This both. Now, if I do the same thing here, let's say, let me create it once. So now the L1 is the normal one, this 5, because I've executed that again. Now, if I do this, so this is the new list. Now, if I run this L1 of 5, it has only 56. It's not giving me this whole thing. So that is the difference between append and extend. So for entirely depends on the situation. If you want to insert multiple at one shot, use append. If you want them to be treated as individual elements, use extend. That's it, as simple as that. What else can we do here? So this is list, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is another list L2 which has 4, 5, 6, 7. So can we do L1 plus L2? Yes, but L1 plus L2 has not added things, rather it's kind of concatenated. So it has not added the elements, it has concatenated these two lists together, and it has made one master list. Now, can we, so there are a lot of other things, but let's go through the loops once. There are other things which will enable us to do the summation and all of that. So let's say there is a need where I need to do a sum of all that. So can we try the same option L1 dot and hit the tab option? This will tell you all the things you can do using list. Now there is nothing called sum, so you cannot sum it using list. So all you can do is use some other method to do the sum. But list does not have a ready-made sum option. Rather, it has a reverse, a sort. So you can probably sort your values. And we have seen extend and index. It will do the same thing. Pop will remove things.
I'm
So
not
that's
getting
what.
this kind of functions actually.
Sorry.
So you showed me these functions count, everything is coming now in the tabular column down cells.
Yes. Yes.
So I
L1
could not
dot.
able to get that one, this kind. How
Yeah.
these functions clear, copy, count, and all.
How these functions are coming.
Yeah, in your what you are clicking in that to get this
So,
tab, the down.
so this particular, so see, there are functions associated to every data type, right?
Hmm.
This is list. So we had string. We will have something else later. So if we hit the tab button, it will show you the functions you can apply on this particular list, and you can do your operation. Now, what these individual functions are doing, that's a different thing. We can go through one by one. It will just take a lot of
No, I
time.
have to click the tab. If I click tab also, I am not getting that.
Oh, you are not getting that option.
Yeah.
Okay, so first write the list name and then hit the dot and then hit the tab. Just do step by step, just do one at a time. First write the list name and make sure the list is executed.
Okay.
Like I have L1 and L2 have executed. So if I write L2 now and then the dot and then the tab just once, just
Okay.
don't hold it, just press it just once.
Okay. Okay.
Don't just press it just once, don't hold it for some time, or don't do like that. Just
Fine.
dot and the tab.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, and then you can just type any function. If you have any question on that, see, I've written at the top here shift plus tab. So earlier you were pressing shift, now just press shift plus tab. This will show you in brief about what this particular function is doing. So this is our function, right? So if you go here, this will show you these all are functions. Functions means somebody has written what to do with it. You are just calling this particular function and using it. We are not bothered about what's inside of it, like some who has written the inside codes or something. No, we are not bothered about all of that. All we are doing is we are just calling it, and we are just leveraging the already written code inside of it. As simple as that. Okay.
Okay.
So that's about list. Now we are moving into tuples. So tuple is what? Tuple is also another type of storing mechanism, but the thing, it has some differences with list. I'll tell you what. So this is how a tuple usually stores data. So if you run this, this is how. So what is the data type? So at any point, if you feel you don't know what the data type is, just write type and then within bracket just put the variable name. It will tell you what type of a data type it is. So the type is this tuple. So also an easy way to identify is from angular brackets. So these are angular brackets. So this is a tuple. These were square brackets. So this is a list. Now, the main difference between list and tuple is list is mutable. Now, what do you mean by mutable? Mutable means list can be modified. We can add, we can delete, we can append, we can just do anything with the index positions. That is not the case with a tuple. Tuples are immutable, right? So, list is mutable and tuple is immutable. That is the main thing. Immutable means you can, so once this tuple is created, you've created a tuple, now you cannot add anything, you cannot, remove this, let's say these two variables, 2, 3, these two values. No, you cannot do that. You cannot add anything in between 2 and 3. So once it is done, it is done. If you want to do something else, you have to create a new one. Okay, so that's the basic difference between list and tuples. Now, what else? The another most important is list is slow and tuple is fast. Why? Because list, we don't know how many, how much of a memory user would need. So it will, the way it is stored in the RAM memory is, it will allocate a lot of space, and as per your number of values you are putting in, those many, memory will be filled and rest will be blank. So eventually it's occupying a lot of space, and that's not the case with tuple. So tuple usually takes less space because you have already defined what you need, and later there will be no amendments. So this is kind of fast. So it entirely depends on the need of the hour. Let's say you have a database, a company database, where you want the, let's say, the employee ID, the employee ID of a company, employee underscore ID. So you will always save that in the form of a list. So these are like employee numbers, right? You will always save them as because these will never last forever. Few will go away, few will join. So this this list, or this list of numbers will keep on updating over a period of time. So you will keep that as a list, but that's not the case with a tuple. So instead, if I had used a tuple to store all of that, imagine the data retrieval would have been faster. But what if next year somebody had joined or somebody would have left the company? I would have no option to update or manipulate this tuple. So that's the basic difference between list and tuple. These are basic interview questions. The first thing about they'll ask is, I'll also ask even like, what is the difference between list and tuple? So these are the two essential main differences. Just understand them clearly. Now I'm saying these are not updatable. You cannot update them. Let's try it here. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of true, because see, the list of functions which we were getting earlier, now it has only two: count and index. That's it. So either you can count, or you can do an index, or you can find the position of a particular variable within it. But you would not be able to to append, to add, to delete, and all of that. So that will not be allowed. And but you can access it in the same way we can access a string or a list. Like tuple 0 will give me 1, or tuple 0 plus, let's say, tuple 1. So if I'm adding these two, 1 plus 1, I'm getting 3. You can store that in a new variable. So those are few of the things that we can do. So that's on tuples. Next, there is, okay, we'll do a dictionary, and then we will do a set, and then do a dictionary. So set. So set is what? So if you have, read it in mathematics, so it's something similar to a list, but a little bit of a difference. So it set is something which will store a similar type of data in it. But how will you identify this is a set or not? So you just have to write set on top of it. First you write set, and then you just put some values here. Oh, sorry, I think. Yeah. So that's how you create a set. So everything within a tuple, within a list. I mean, you can think it from that way, but just keep it simple. You have to write set on top of it, and that's it. So what is the data type here? The data type is a set. What are the things we can do? Just try the same thing. We can add, we can clear, delete, and all of that. Now, we have seen in mathematics that set theory and are you guys aware of it, right? Set theory?
No.
Okay, okay, no worries. So in mathematics, so set is like the same thing, set of values together, set of values putting together. Now what you can do is we can just see how many of them are common, how many of them are different, and we can just play around with that. Let me just manually change some values here. Yeah, these are the two values I have changed. So now this is S2 and this is S1. So let's say if I want to see how many of them are common, so what will I do? S1 dot intersection. Intersection will see how many of them are common between these two. S2. These are the three elements which are common between these. So these are like specifications of set. Now, if you want to know more about set, you can certainly Google it. So set theory is a very important concept in mathematics. So you will at least get a basic idea of how set works. I'm not going into it. So this is like a mathematical way of representation. So this is set A, which has lot of values. Uh, these are two different sets. Disjoint means there are no common elements between them. This U is known as union, means taking all the elements of A and B together. Intersection means only the common elements which are present in both the set A and B, and so on and so forth. So you can probably go through it. But yeah, that's what this set is all about. Set is something which stores a similar type of variables. One second, let me just put 2.5. See the difference. Until this value was 2, it was just pulling me these three records. So 1 was similar, common in both, 2 was common in both, and 6 was common in both. But if I replace this with 2.001, it treated this as a decimal floating point as a different variable. So this is not coming, this is not common between them anymore. Hence, I'm getting only 1 and 6. So the output is 1, 6. Now, let's say if I want to store it in a new variable, how can I do it? All I need to do is just put an equal to and just store it in a new variable, which is S3. So if I run this, I'm not getting anything because I'm not printing anything. Instead, if I just put S3, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm getting, so there are two sets. What I'm trying to do is intersection, the common between these two and this. Let's try with something else. Let's try with something else. S1 dot, we tried intersection. We try, let's see difference of S2. What this will do, difference is, it can be written as like this, S1 minus S2. This means elements which are in S1, but those elements which are not in S2. I want a list of, those elements. You're following me? So one which is in S1 is also in S2. So this will not come. 2.001, this is in S1, but is not in S2. Hence, I'm getting that. 3.4 is present in S1, but not in S2. I'm getting that. 44 is present in S1, but not in S2. I'm getting that. And 6 is present, so I'm not getting that. So that's the use of this difference function. Similarly, let's try one more, and then we'll move to the other elements. Intersection, difference, and let's try the union. That's the important one. What is union? So as union is combining everything. So if I do this union, it will essentially combine all and create a master list, basically. So if I do this, this is One second. This is difference, and this is taking everything together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all the variables here. So that's what this one is all about. Union is doing. 1, 2.2, 3.4, and then 2, 5, 61. So essentially, I'm getting all the values. So these are the basic things between, how to select. So just think it from a perspective of real world, and you'll be able to relate.
Here also I should press this S1 dot tab for get this intersection difference and the tableau column.
Yes, yes, absolutely. For any function, Ranjit, for any function, just if the variable is already defined, just type it and then dot and just press the tab once. All the options you can do with this particular set will come. And things which are not coming, that means you cannot do them. Like there is append function is not coming. That means you cannot do an append on a set.
Here S1 I could not able, if I after pressing tab also I could not able to get
So
this.
have you written this thing first? S1 is equal to set.
Yeah, I done.
You have executed that
Yes.
and then just write S1 and hit run. Can you see all the variables at the bottom? Can you see them at the bottom, Ranjit?
Yeah, I can see in the bottom.
Okay, now just press dot and then tab. Then can you see these options, intersection, union, are they coming?
No, it's not coming.
That means just do one thing, just write type of S1 and see if you're getting a set or not.
I'm not getting type of S1. I'm getting type bracket S1. Not set. Only I'm getting the type S1.
No, whenever you're writing type S1, if you're running it, what is coming in the print statement, like at the bottom?
Type S1 only it's coming.
Oh, that means the set has not been defined.
Okay.
Can you check one more thing at the top? Can you tell me if it is in code or markdown?
Yeah, it is in code only.
This is in code only, right? So, and the way you have defined a set, have you checked that? So first it's angular bracket, then it's square bracket, and then all the variables, all the elements.
Yeah, I have done. Like same you written.
Then you should have received it. Let me just put it here. Where is that chat option? Just trying, just do a copy paste on your end and see this should work. Oh, hold on, hold on. I think S2 has gone somewhere else. No, this is fine. So this should work. Just wait for a minute and let's see if it is working. And then we'll move to dictionary quickly.
No, I'm not getting it again.
You getting an error or what?
Yeah, kind of error I'm getting.
Okay. Would you be able to quickly share your screen so we
Yeah,
can
I
fix
can
it
share
right
my
away?
screen.
Hmm?
Yes, I will share the screen.
Just do it right away. It won't take much time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is fine, right? So it's happening.
It's happening, but that set type S1, if I type no, it should get like set no, it is not coming. And also if
Okay,
I
that is
type,
fine. Just go to the 32. Okay, just yeah, just go here. You have already executed S1, S2. Now just type S1. S1 dot tab. Yeah, see it's coming, right?
it's here is coming.
No, no, here also it will come. Here also it will
Come,
come. You just have S1,
not
set
coming.
one. There is nothing called set one, right? It's S1. You have to correctly write the variable name.
Okay, okay.
If you put something else, it will not come because S set one, there is nothing called set one.
S1, okay.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
All right. Tell me if you can see my CN. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I can follow.
Okay. So next we will see quickly about dictionary. So dictionary is also another mode of saving data until everything we were saving here. So dictionary is also, but dictionary goes by key and pair. So how dictionary saves in the form of there is a key and there is a value. So just think of it as, mm, pages of a book. Let's say there is a book which is dictionary. Now that particular book has individual chapters on individual pages. Now if you want to go to a particular chapter which is a value, you have to put the right page number. If you know that, you can directly jump into the, that particular chapter. That's what dictionary is all about. So how to create a dictionary using this second parenthesis. And all you need to do is first you put a key, colon, there is a value. If you want to create another one, say key to, colon, LP. Probably the spelling is wrong, but ignore it. So, okay, one more mistake I did, which is, yeah, this one. Yep. So this is how we create a dictionary. So the first is, let's say, let me write it down like this way, it will be easy to relate. All right. So there is a key, there is a value, there is a key, there is a value. So that's how we can create a dictionary. So what is the type of it? What type of variable it is in Python? This is a dict variable, which is a dictionary. Now, how can I access a dictionary? Again, same thing, dot tab. It will show you everything. So items, let's start with keys. Now, this is a function. Now, for functions, we have to open and close it with a parenthesis. That is one essential thing that we should do, right? For keys. So what it will give me? It will give me the list of keys it has. Same thing if I do with, let's say, with values. Yeah, it has a values. If I do that, it will give me the list of values it has. Now, what type of a data type this is, the output that I'm getting. Let's try that as well. So at any confusion, just type, like just use the type function. Now it's saying these are dictionary values. So let's do one thing. Let's store it in a new variable. D is equal to this and then type D. These are dictionary values which are essentially, they look like sets, but how can we access it? Let's say I want to access the first element. I'll do this. Oh, sorry. That's how I don't think we can do. D dot. This is a dictionary. It's saved as a set. Oh, it can be accessed only through the keys, basically. Dot keys within that. If not Hmm. Zero to will not work here. Let me just see once. There are so many things here. Sometimes you'll get bit. But of E2 should work. Yeah. So using keywords and values, we can access a particular dictionary. So this is a key. So like the example that I gave, right? So for every key, you open a room. So let's say there, you open a book. So these keys are individual page numbers. You put the key and it will give you that particular chapter. So that's how we can access, individual keys out of it. And same thing, if it will give you the list of keys, but essentially that's the, values and key pair that we have. And what are the things that we can do from keys get, I cannot recall I've used everything always because not always are necessary. Yeah, dict.items, it gave you the key dictionary pair. Now just see how they are stored. First, this is a tuple. See the interesting thing. First, this is stored as a tuple because a key value pair, you don't want to interfere that with. One, once it is created, you don't want to change any of the values or anything on top of it. So that's why this is a tuple. But you want to add more elements to it, right? There could be key 3 value 3, there could be key 4 value 4. Hence this whole thing was saved inside a list which is mutable, and you can keep on adding the whole things. And essentially this again was saved as a within this function. So dict element, so this angular brackets again tells you this whole thing is within a particular function. So these are kind of ways to relate to the different list key value pairs chains that we have. Now in future we are going to use a lot of list, because for Python, for data science, list is extremely crucial. Tuples are good to know. String is something that will be needed every now and then. And dictionaries are more or less important, but in near future, we will be using a different thing, which is a data frame. Hence, dictionaries are good to know. These are kind of good to know for interview questions, but once we move ahead, we will be less using these things. These are different means to to store the data basically within Python. Okay, let's try one more thing and then we'll wrap it. In 10 minutes, we'll just stop today, right? And we can take it from tomorrow again. So there is something called taking value from user input. So there is a function called input. So what this will do is this will take value from user, enter a value. Val is equal to, let's say I want to print what I have. So input is a function which will ask end user to write some input. Let's say you are working on some modeling project and you want the end user to give you some input. So for those situations, you can use this input function. So whatever, let's say you are writing, what happened? Why it changed to markdown? pending input. Kernel is busy. See, something gone wrong on my end. Interrupt. Just click run. Yes. And yeah. So if you do this and let's say what happened here? Something is going wrong with my keyboard. Something is wrong. Yeah, if I run it and SIYA, no, something is wrong. The A button, every time I'm pressing, it's going down. It's something with my, so it's something with my keyboard here. So if I'm pressing A, it's taking the value to the next. But yeah, that's what this is. This input function, that's how we can take input from the user. And then there are two very interesting things, which are conditional statement. Conditional statements. Conditional statement means your codes will run based on a certain condition. What is that? Which are written in this way, if else. So let's say there is a value x is equal to 67. Now if okay, let's do it with the help of input. Now I don't know mine will work or not, because my every time I'm pressing within input A, it's giving me some error, but we'll do it this way. So if x is equal to 67 colon, hit enter. Now just understand, this is one thing. So when I pressed entered after colon, it did not go to the extreme left, rather it stopped somewhere in between. This is known as indentation. What do we call it? We call it indentation. So indentation is it will stop in the middle, and then you can do a print. X is 67, else. Okay, let's say you want to do another nested, like, okay, let me put it this way. Else print X is not 67. So if I run this statement, what I'm going to get, this is what I'm going to get. X is 67 because this condition is getting executed. So these are simple if else statements, we call them. So if a particular condition matches, then that particular segment will get executed. If not, let's say if here the value is 69 and if I run it, it will go into the else statement and this part will get executed. Or let's say there are multiple prints within this. Those statements will get executed. So that is the difference between if and else. Right. This is, we call them conditional statements. Now, why conditional? Because based on a certain condition, this particular statement is getting executed. Now, you can do multiple statements within it. So, let's say you want to check two values. If this and y is less than 15, then this. So, if I run this, I'm getting the second one, because both the conditions are getting executed, both the conditions are true. So if I look at the first one, if x is equal to 67, no, this is not matching. If y less than 15, y is 10, which is less than 15, true. But both of them should be true. In that case, this one will get executed. But that's not the case with me. This one is false and this one is true. So false and true becomes false. So this whole thing will not get executed. So it directly jumps into else. Now, there are no other conditions to check. I have not used anything else, right? So directly it will go here and this part will be executed. As simple as that. But here there is one more thing which we call nested loop. So like there are, let's say, 3 4 if conditions you want to check. How will you do? So else if. which is elif. That's how we write it. If x is, let's say, greater than 65 and y is greater than 15, then print execute this part. So these are like multiple, so we call them as nested conditions. Nested condition. Nest means one after one, within another, within another. That's what is nest is all about. So nested conditions means if this condition matches, then this will get executed. Else, if this is another condition, then this will be executed. Else, if none of them matches, then come here and whatever is written inside, just execute those statements. So that is all about conditional statements. And there is another thing which is loops. Yeah, so there is another called loops. Now what loop is? Now loop, as by English we can call it, so loops are something which goes on repetition, right? Let's say print of star. So this is one simple example. So I want to print a star here. I've written print star, it's giving me a star. Let's say I want 2 stars. I'll write 2, I'm getting 2. Let's say I want 100 such star statements. Then would I be writing then then would I be writing 100 such statements? Of course not possible, right? So that's why these loops came into the picture. Loop is like I will predefine the starting and end position, and then I will put the statement and it will keep on executing accordingly. So usually there are 2 types of loops in Python. One is a for loop and the second is while loop. So what they are? So for loop is based on a certain how do we call it, iteration, or like number of executions. Let's write it this way. So that's what for loop is all about, where you bother about how many times you want to execute. So that is for loops. And while is where you want to execute a loop based on a condition, right? If your condition matches, then you want the loop to be executed. If the condition doesn't matches, you don't want. That is while loop. And for loop is where you want certain number of times. Let's say this will go into for loop because I want, let's say I want the star to be printed 50 times, 50 such stars. So while condition, we can do it using while. We'll talk about that in details later, but for loop is essentially about how many will be executed. So that's what for loop is all about. So let's start with a simple for loop. Let's start with how it looks. So for within bracket, for I in range 10, print star. See, it's giving me 10 star. I don't have to write 10 prints. Instead, I just informed Python like there is a for loop. Let it run for 10 times and get me this prints. Every time it is executed, this will give me stars. Now, how it is working? We'll talk in details about tomorrow. We're already time. It's 10. So how about we do a hard stop today and we'll start from here tomorrow about for loop and while loop and how exactly this works in details. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So for any
Thank you.
queries, just keep that a note. So tomorrow when we start for the first 10 minutes, we can just go through the doubts and then we'll jump into the content.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Okay. All right, Ranjit.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Sian, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.